Hello, it's me again. I'm back, and yes, I'm making more mead. This time I'm making mead for the St. Patrick's Day holiday, and uh, I'm putting my own little twist on it because I have a lot of interest in pre Christian Irish history. I've also been reading up a lot on and researching my own ancestry in that regard. And so this mead is really for, it's my Irish ancestors' mead. Uh, and I'm calling it Danu's Irish Mead. And it is being, the ingredients include three well known Irish wildflowers. I'm putting in elderflower, clover, and meadowsweet. Let's just start with what I did to make this mead. It's been 24 hours. I already set fed this. I gave it a quarter teaspoon ferment O, and I'm going to do that over the next couple days, and then on the seventh day I'll do it one more time. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with, what did I do to make this mead? I did the same thing that I do pretty much every time I make a mead. I'm finding I like to make a tea first. So what I did is I went ahead and I boiled about half a gallon of water. I got that in the pot, set that to boil. In the meantime, I had my red clover and meadowsweet and elderflowers, and I put a quarter cup of each of those, which is roughly, I think 33 grams. So it's a 3/4 cups is roughly 100 grams. If I'm wrong, I apologize, and I'll correct it somewhere around here. Anyway, so I put 3/4 cup total, 1/4 cup each of the herbs that I selected. I put them into a mesh bag and I tied it off. When the water was boiling, I went ahead and threw those in along with one black tea bag to give it a little more tannic value. And I put a lid on, turned the heat off, and I let that steep for 20 minutes. Once that was done, I went ahead and I squeezed the bags and I removed them from the liquid. And then I added my 3 pounds of raw honey and I stirred it up really well because I didn't want any honey dripping on the bottom of the thingamajiggy. So I stirred it up with my spoon, and once that was all stirred up, I took a little bit of that sweet honey liquid and I put it into a glass and added my half a teaspoon of Go Firm and stirred it up, set it aside. While that was going, I added cold filtered water to the carboy to get the level, up a little bit in here because it was only, half a gallon. So I moved it up to almost a full gallon and waited for that to cool. As soon as the Go Firm was at body temperature, I went ahead and I used my 71B, Lalvin 71B yeast, and I put in half a packet. And this is my first time using this yeast, so we'll see how it goes. I'm excited about it. I believe it has an alcohol tolerance of 14%. If I'm wrong, again, I will correct it here because a lot of times I come back and do these videos and I get it wrong. So anyway, I added half a packet, and once the carboy had cooled down and it looked like the yeast were waking up and starting to do their thing, I went ahead and pitched my yeast. And I shook everything up. I got it pretty good and oxygenated. I shook it up actually earlier when I added the cold water. I shook it up quite a bit, and then I just swirled it a bit once the yeast were put in. And then next step, as usual, is to take a gravity reading, which I did. And the original gravity for this is 1.10. So that's what I put. Once I got my gravity reading, everything was in the carboy that needed to be there. I put my airlock and bung on and I put it in my dark closet to start fermenting. This one started fermenting within an hour. It was bubbling away. It's bubbled. So you can see there's mead up in the airlock. So I'll be cleaning that out. It's bubbling away. It's very happy. And yeah. Okay, so it's been, I don't know, about 3 weeks since I started this mead. And I did go ahead and pasteurize it. I did a gravity reading yesterday and it was at 1.012, which brings this to about 11.5% ABV, which is great. And I didn't want it to keep fermenting. So as you can see, it's cleared out a little bit. There's a bunch of sediment at the bottom because I didn't even rack it into secondary. I don't know if that's okay to do, but that's what I did. I pasteurized it using boiling water in the carboy. And yeah. So what? It just bubbled. Maybe there's still gases in there. Hopefully it looks like the yeast died because everything dropped to the bottom. What I'm going to do right now, I did give it a little taste and it's kind of bitter. I might have gone a little overboard on the tea that I made. It right now tastes like, when you've steeped your tea for too long, it's that really bitter flavor. And so I am going to go ahead and I'm going to move it from my 1 gallon carboy. Got all my tubing and everything here for everybody to see too. I'm going to put it in this pitcher and I'm going to go ahead and back sweeten it. Got some honey from Costco. I'm going to do that and get it to tasting, I know it's very new and it's only been 3 weeks, so I'm not expecting it to be spectacular or anything, but I know I want it a little sweeter. So let's get to it. Okay, so I'm back. We have 112 ounces. Fortunately or unfortunately, I don't know which, I only have a 3 gallon container, 3-quarter gallon container. So I'm going to just put as much of this into this as I can after I back sweeten. And here's another twist. So you know how everything is green for St. Patrick's Day, and I was reading up on it and I read that the color of Ireland is actually blue. So I went and got some blue spirulina powder and I was going to try to turn this blue, but as you can see, it is a fairly dark color. I have a feeling if I add this in, it's going to just be murky, but I might just do it anyway because why not? And I don't know if I'm going to do it correctly or not. I've never tried to put a powder like this in my mead to color it. So join me as I test out this new approach. Come on. Oh, there we go. Okay, so I'm gonna add the honey. I'm just doing it to taste. I'm not big on measuring stuff, and I probably should be a little more than I am, but maybe I will with time. But for now, I'm just gonna add some honey. I'm gonna stir it up, then I'm gonna taste it, and then I'm gonna add some more and stir it up and taste it, and that's how I'm gonna do this. Whoop. Okay, so I just added, 3.5 ounces. See what that does. When I tasted this, when I took the gravity reading, it was pretty bitter. Like I said, I wouldn't enjoy drinking it. I put it that way. I think heating up your honey is a good way to go when you're back sweetening. Anybody have any suggestions other than that? I'd love to know. But got my little tasting glass. it's pretty bitter. I don't know if that's going to get better with age. It might. I actually might add a little bit of my lemon extract too. That might be good in here. I'm going to add a little bit more honey. Whoa. All right. So now it's a total of 7.5 ounces. Ooh, much better. Still bitter. Still a little bitter, but I'm going to go get some of my extracts. All right. So it smells like honey now, so at least I can smell the honey. I have my... This is vanilla extract that I started, I don't know, 2.5 months ago. It's really, I don't think, ready for at least 6 months. So, sorry, I ran to get these and now I'm winded. Anyway, I also have an enormous amount of lemon extract that I made. This isn't the only jar, so I've been giving it away as much as I can. But anyway, I'm going to pour a little, I'm just going to do it. Normally I would do a little test in a glass, but I didn't even bring measuring spoons. I'm not really prepared to add extract, so I'm just going to pour some in, see what happens. Whew, powerful lemon extract. Okay. I don't know, maybe that was a tablespoon? I don't know. That actually made a little bit of a difference. I'm going to put just another drop in. Yay, I'm using my extracts. Whoop. Okay. Let's see. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to pour a little bit of my vanilla extract in. So that's kind of vanilla is my go-to when it's too bitter. Like if there's something in there that I can't seem to balance out. I've found, and it's personal preference, but I've found that vanilla can really soften flavor. And again, I'm just going to pour some in and hope that a vanilla bean doesn't fall out because I didn't bring any spoons. So here we go. Okay. God. I am good at making messes. That's one thing I know I'm good at. Okay, so I don't know what that was, probably, let's call that a tablespoon. It's kind of a lot, but I don't know how strong this is right now. Oh, that's lovely. Maybe a little too much vanilla. Whoops. Okay. So I added, I'd say roughly 2 tablespoons of lemon extract and maybe a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And that really rounded this out nicely. I'm going to taste it again just because I like, really? Yeah, the vanilla can be a little overpowering, and I don't know what's going to happen as this ages, but I like vanilla. Yeah, that's pretty good. The vanilla really brought the sweetness out somehow. And the lemon just helped with that, like, I don't know what the proper word is for it, but it's bitter from just too much tea. The lemon helped kind of cover some of that. Ooh, now I'm excited about this one. I was initially a little bit like, oh, it was an experiment gone wrong, but sometimes when that happens, you keep experimenting and then it goes right, and that's the fun part. So this spirulina powder, this, and the vanilla bean don't really have much to do with Ireland or St. Patrick's Day, but oh wait, yes they do. Take that back. Blue. I'm only getting this for the color. What do you think will happen if I pour this in? Do you think it'll make it look dark brown? It's already a light brown. So if I add blue to light brown, I'm thinking it's going to be dark brown. But I'm going to do it anyway, because why not? This is my what I'm doing. And if I mess it up, the color up, I'm not too picky about it. Whoa, this is neon blue. Now, how much of this do you put in? That's the question. I'm just going to pour some in, see what happens. I don't know. Maybe I should have mixed this with water first. Oh, you know what'll happen? Maybe it'll turn green. Me intending on making it blue will turn it green. And that's kind of perfect. I'm happy with either color. I definitely don't need to put more of this in there. I think I might have gone a little overboard. Let's see. Get that. Well, I mean, I could add more and just make it a really dark blue. But this is kind of cool. I think this will look cool in the bottles because it's like a sea green, which is kind of perfect because, it's a combination of the two colors. I got this as good as it's going to get at this point. I'm going to let it age for a while. I'm also going to check periodically to see if somehow there are yeasts that are still active in there. So I'll put it in here and I'll probably do a couple gravity readings over the next few days just to make sure it doesn't start fermenting again. And maybe when all the solids drop out of this, it will be a nice blue color. We shall see. As you can see, it's like a sea green color. So this is going back in my closet to age for a while, and I'll be back at some point with a tasting. I have blue spirulina all over my hands and it's not coming off. So the stuff really stains. I'm going to see if it changed the flavor at all. I'm going to pour a real glass so you can see what it looks like. See that color? That's actually, it's kind of matches it's a darker version of this tablecloth. Yeah, I can't taste the blue spirulina. This is with the additions that I made. This is totally drinkable right now at 3 weeks old. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to have to find a container to put the rest of this in. I have 16 ounces. All right, well, I'm going to enjoy this little sip of my Irish Wildflower Mead, or Danu's Mead, whatever I decided I was going to call this. And I'm going to go ahead and put this stuff away, and I'm going to come back and talk about the ingredients that I picked for those who are interested. So I will be right back. So the red clover is kind of an obvious one because of the shamrock, which I believe the word shamrock is derived from an old Irish word that means young clover, meaning the clover without the flowers, just the little three. Anyway, and so obviously I was going to pick that, and it happens to be a wildflower that is native to Northern Europe and Ireland. And it's, while I was reading up on this, I found a website called wildflowersofireland.net, and it's a pretty cool website. You can look up a plant by the common names, the Irish name, and the Latin name for the plant. So I'm just going to read a little bit about the red clover. So it's well known on both waste and cultivated land. The red clover is a straggling, hairy plant which spreads throughout moist but well-drained soils. Widely grown for fodder, its small pinkish reddish purple flowers are borne in large, ovid, dense heads from May to October. And it is a trifoliate leaf, so meaning there's three. Trifoliate? I don't know how to say the word. Anyway, it has the three leaves, each bearing a white crescent-shaped mark on the leaf. And this is a pea flower, and so it fixes nitrogen into the soil, which is good for other plant life. And an old remedy that's listed here, it says, an old remedy for summer fevers and indigestion in children was to stew sloe leaves with clover blossoms. Strain the liquid and take it after meals and rub the stewed leaves on the palms and hands and soles of the feet. And if a white froth came in the mixture while it was stewing, it was a sign that the cure would be effective. And it's also good for washing sores, and it was known to have a lot of power in it. So I thought this would be a wonderful addition to my Irish Wildflower Mead. And the shamrock is often associated with St. Patrick, but from what I've read, St. Patrick used the shamrock because it was already a well-known symbolic plant in the area, and he used it to explain the Holy Trinity. But it also can represent the triple goddess, and among other things. And the number 3 is very important in ancient Irish culture. So yeah, there we go with the red clover. Moving on to meadowsweet. So this, so from the same website, it talks about meadowsweet. It says creamy perennial of damp waysides, meadows, marshes, and woods. This tall, hairless plant flowers throughout Ireland from June to September. With a heavy fragrance, it carries its numerous 5 to 6 petaled flowers in dense clusters on furrowed reddish stems. Something else about meadowsweet is mead. The word mead, I believe, is derived from that because it's one of the first plants that was used to make mead. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But, I'm pretty sure that's what that is. But anyway, and here's what it has to say about any folklore or medicinal uses. It says meadowsweet's herbal uses had a base in scientific fact in common with many other folk and herbal medicines. Okay, so meadowsweet can be used as a painkiller. It's also anti-inflammatory. It smells great. So it was used as a disinfectant. And it was also only after it was synthesized did it become an acceptable candidate for mass production and sold in tablet form as aspirin. Good to know. So anyway, meadowsweet, pain reliever, anti-inflammatory. These things are good. Moving on. So meadowsweet. Moving on to elder. So there's elder flowers, elder berries, and the wood of the elder tree has a lot of folklore around it. But I will go ahead and just read a little bit from this website. This is a deciduous shrub which grows to a height of 10 meters in hedges, waste places, and along lanes throughout the country. In May, it hosts heavily scented, flat-topped coriums of white, five-petaled flowers, the fruit of which is in the form of a dark purple berry. And so, yeah, that's elder. And the elderberries are a very good source of vitamin C and also make wonderful jelly and wines, which I've made an elderberry mead. You should check out the video. And it says the elder tree stinks to the present day because Judas hanged himself out of an elder tree. That's all it says here. I thought that was it. This is a nice mix of the clover, which has the triplicity. The triple goddess is what I associate it with more so than St. Patrick, but it could be associate any of the triplicities. Is that what anyway, associated with the goddess, St. Patrick, and used for healing. The meadowsweet has a long history with mead making, and it is also a pain reliever, which is, I think, a good thing. It's anti-inflammatory, again, really nice. And then the elder flower is good for your overall health and helps with chest congestion, has a lot of magical history. It's kind of a big one in all the books that I have. It's guaranteed there's going to be something in there about elder. Whereas these other ones, not so much. So yeah, and I think I have found a really awesome YouTube channel that has a lot of information about ancient Ireland and Irish history, and it's called the Brehon Law Academy. And I will go ahead and put a link in the description below if you're interested in learning more about ancient Ireland and Irish history. The Brehon Law are the ancient laws by which the Irish people lived their lives and were governed, and it's a really interesting topic. So if you have any interest, please check out the description and go check out the Brehon Law Academy. I think that covers it for, I have a little bit of my Irish mead left. I hope this video is useful, and I will see you next time. Thank you.